Hi guys, it's Belle here. I've just got this here so that you've got something to look on while I chat. So today's video is tackling a subject that I think that as creatives, we all suffer from, and I definitely have been for a little while now. I am struggling with what is often referred to as a lack of creative mojo. I'm struggling to want to craft. I'm struggling when I do want to craft to actually just be able to find inspiration or even to actually finish something or make something without kind of feeling a lack of ability to finish it and things like that. So I wanted to come on and do a little video and share with you. Firstly, we all suffer with it, guys. Now, obviously, if this is your hobby at home that you're doing for you, does it matter if you're struggling? No, because you can just not craft for a little while and come back to it later. However, for most of us, it's a hobby we love, so it can be quite frustrating when the thing that normally we really enjoy doing, and it might be a way for us to relax, it might be a way for us to decompress, it might be a way for us to tackle and deal with things like the anxieties we might live with, and therefore for us not to be able to do it actually becomes frustrating, stressful, and can cause other issues, and again, if it's something you're doing just for you, then you can give yourself some grace and some time to just maybe put down the craft tools, walk away from the craft area for a little while and come back to it when you're feeling more inspired. For those of us who make videos or share our crafts online on social media, it really is a problem if we are then lacking creative mojo. But I'm hoping today to give yourself and me some reminders of ways that we can tackle it. So this is not an exhaustive list by any means. Please leave your recommendations for how to do this down below so that other people reading the comments can have even more ideas. Hopefully something here helps spark you. My whole goal with this is that these techniques may not make you feel overtly creative straight away, but it's a way to keep you creating. It's a way to keep you at your craft desk and your craft area and just keep crafting. And who knows, hopefully something will come of that. So the first thing, I've spoken about this repeatedly, but the first thing is to take part in mini challenges. So I have been taking part for the last 4 years in the Marguerite Miller prompt challenges. I have a whole playlist of all the years that I have done that you can check out. But aside from Marguerite Miller, I am also doing the full deck challenge by Shanuki Art. I will leave the links to these people down below. And I'm also doing Jodie Lewis's ABC challenge as well, which is a fortnightly one, not weekly. Now, you can see these are all different sizes. I think these kind of challenges are a great way. They're small, you already have prompts, you're using things, usually scraps around your home, your craft stash. So it doesn't matter if you make a card. Let me grab one. It doesn't matter if you make a card that you don't like. Let me get one out. Like, I really didn't like this one I made the other week. It's fine, but it's not my style. It doesn't matter if you make one you don't like or if you get a bit experimental. The whole point is it's a small space. Like, both of these are small spaces, and even this is only 6 by 6. It's a small space to just stick some stuff down and have a go without feeling overwhelmed with a blank page or too much going on. And again, if you don't want to do the full challenge, because I know some people are like, well, I can't just randomly pick some prompts, Belle, and do one thing. I'm not intending to do it all week. Create your own prompts. Maybe find one of an old prompt list, or random prompt ideas, creative prompt ideas, Pinterest, Instagram, go through YouTube videos, things like that, or just make your own. Know that you want to work on collage, maybe texture, maybe stenciling. You want to use different colors, put them all in a jar, pull them out, do a few prompts. This is a great way. You don't have to complete a whole challenge, but if you're really struggling, mini challenges and working on a small space can really help. There's nothing worse than looking at a big blank page and just thinking, I don't feel inspired, I don't want to work on it, I don't know where to start. It's making me feel worse about my lack of creative mojo. Tiny card or ATC, small space, and you can just stick some stuff down, and it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. You at least are still creating and having a go and being in your craft space, even when you're not feeling that inspired. Talking about being inspired, let me bring this over. This is a project box that I've had for a little while. Haven't done any videos with it this year though. This is my unfinished project box, as well as I put some little bits of inspiration in here. So maybe have a look at what you've got that isn't finished. I've got all sorts of things that aren't complete. Maybe pulling something out will inspire you to complete it. And again, it doesn't have to go anywhere. It just has to be for you. So there's all sorts of unfinished things in here. However, I've also got some bits that I've made before that I've maybe only made one of and I want to have a go at. I've also got some bits that have been sent to me. This was sent in a tag swap last year that I really like the look of, but I haven't made yet, but I want to. There's bigger projects in here, like this little folio that I want to have a go at. There's all sorts of bits and bobs in here. There's like this that I was sent, and it's just using washi and some a paper embellishment, but I like the kind of collagey look of it, and also I wanted to add more to it. So this is a great way. Again, I actually made this, but it was using a particular challenge technique, and I wanted to do more of that. And this is great because I think the challenge means you have to do it in 15 minutes. But if you're struggling, you may not want to give yourself a time limit, but that can actually help. Again, this is something I was sent in a tag challenge that I thought, oh, this is cute, so I want to have a go at making something like this. So maybe start putting a box together of small unfinished projects and things that you have either made yourself. This is another perfect example. I recently made this that was inspired by something else I had made in 2022, but this time I adapted it by adding things I hadn't added, because obviously since 2022 there's new things I like to add to my projects. So I just added more pockets and bits that open with magnets, and I also did it in my favorite style. So yes, get yourself together a little box that's got unfinished little projects. You don't want big projects in there, but little projects. And also maybe have an inspiration box where it's things you've made you've really enjoyed, but you've only made one of, but you want to make more, or that you've been sent in Happy Mail or in other swaps from other creatives, and you want to have a go at making those. And sometimes just looking through that and going, do you know what? Let's have a go at making 5 of these or 3 of these and see what I think. And again, you're already being inspired by someone else, but it's not taking too much creative mojo. It's not taking too much creative kind of energy. You're just being inspired by someone else and having to go what you've got. Obviously, you can find that inspiration anywhere. You find it on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, if you go on there, other social media, YouTube, obviously. I have to be honest, when I am lacking creative mojo, I actually even struggle to watch craft videos, because my brain kind of does this thing where it's like, well, everyone else is crafting and you can't, so don't watch other people's, because yes, you might get inspired, but it's just going to make you me feel worse about the fact that I seem to be struggling, which is completely ridiculous. But that's how my brain's thinking. But there are definitely a few YouTubers that I know, if I am really, really struggling and I'm on all my ways I usually rely on aren't helping, there are a handful of YouTubers that I will watch, and I know as soon as I watch one of their videos, I want to make what they've made. So go through your own stash, pick out some unfinished projects, have a look at what you've been sent, make a little inspiration box, or look at what you've made yourself in previous years and have a go at remaking it and play around with new ideas and techniques that you might have now that you use more often. Or look around for inspiration. So there is that. Another way, this may sound strange, but I'm thinking a lot of you will actually get what I'm saying. When I'm really, really struggling as well, what I like to do is declutter and reorganize. Now, I've been doing that this year anyway. It kind of stalled because I felt very ill and I still have quite a lot to do. But I find that just re-energizing my workspace, making sure it's clean, making sure it's organized, making sure that I go through things. And I'm not talking about tackle a huge area. You would have seen a few videos on my channel where I'm tackling one box and it's a themed, or I'm tackling just my washies. And if you have a lot of a particular thing, like I know I have to tackle my fabrics and ribbons soon, and I have a lot, just do it in chunks. Just go, I'm going to pull this amount out, I'm going to make this organized, and then tomorrow I'll do another. Or give yourself a time limit. Say I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to tackle that one box. And I personally find that not only does it help me feel more re-energized because my area is clean, and I'm someone who needs a clean and tidy and organized work area to feel any creative spark. My area is clean and organized, but it also means I'm looking at my products and I'm looking what's in my stash, and I'm thinking, oh, I haven't seen that in a while. That'd be great. Let's pull that out and put it to the side. And even if you don't want to work with it straight away, it's there and it's kind of in your eye line, and you're thinking, oh, yes, now I really want to make something with that. And yeah, you just go through your stash. It's organized, it's tidy, you can see what you have, because sometimes we get stuck in a rut and we're making the same style repeatedly with the same things. Now, there is nothing wrong with that, but sometimes it's nice to step outside your comfort zone, do something a bit different, because you may find a new technique or something, which is the other thing I want to talk about. So I'm going to bring this over right now. I'm not doing anything here. Actually, no, let's bring this. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So the other thing I want to talk about is learning a new skill. So this year on my to-do list, I know that I am going back to exploring quilling, because I used to quill a little bit and I have all the stuff. And I'm also going to actually open up my pyrography tool and actually practice a bit of pyrography, because I have the tool and I haven't opened it in a couple of years. So another good way to get out of your creative slump is learn a new skill or explore a skill that you haven't explored in a long time. Now, while I am really struggling with paper crafting, I am loving cross stitching again. I've cross stitched for many, many years. I've spoke about this a few times on the channel. And then over the last few years, I just stopped really. Unless it was a very small piece or a gift, I really wasn't cross stitching. And since being ill, and that was the one craft I could do, being very sick, I am now cross stitching every day. The problem with that is that's great for an evening when it's just me, but it's not helping me make videos, make products, and make journals. But doing a new skill can kind of give you your creative brain a refresh. And one of the things, I mean, not everyone's going to cross stitch, but one of the things I really came across last year that I hadn't really explored in detail very much, and that I very much enjoy, is slow stitching. Now, I did have someone comment once that slow stitching is basically embroidery, And it kind of is, but it also isn't, because whereas embroidery, you're often following a pattern or making a specific design, even if it's a fresh piece of linen that you're stitching onto, slow stitching is much more about random stitches. And I find the best thing to slow stitch for me, there's many videos out there, so please do go check out if you're not quite sure what I'm sort of talking about. But I find the best thing for me is to get a funky piece of fabric like this one and then let the fabric dictate the stitches. And I start off really simply, usually by doing lines, just simple lines, as you can see. And I like French knots, so I'll add them where I can. If I want to change it up to make it easier, this is actually one color of thread, but it's a variegated thread, so it's just a simple cross stitch. But because I'm using a variegated thread, it gives it a bit more interest. These are lazy daisy stitches, but you can literally, as you can see, do lines, do crosses. And then, yeah, these were just circles. These, I'm trying to see where they were, but they look similar to this. And I have just done a bit of a design. It's nothing, there is so many amazing slow stitching designs out there, but you can literally just get a simple piece of fabric. Let's just find a little piece over here. I mean, this is a bit too big, but cut yourself a little piece of fabric, maybe 2 inches by 2 inches, and then just get a simple needle and thread, do lines, do crosses, learn a French knot, something like that, just so that you're learning a new skill, you're doing something interesting. This is actually going to be a cover of a journal. But I made this and then haven't finished the journal. But this is going to be the cover to it. I did actually make an art journal for a customer who requested one with this fabric and slow stitch theirs, and that's what then inspired me to, hey, do some slow stitching for myself. So yeah, learn a new skill or technique, and slow stitching is a great one. You only need 1 or 2 colors of embroidery floss, which you can pick up super cheap, especially secondhand, piece of fabric or piece of patterned fabric. Like I said, I like patterned fabric. Like here, I would just do little lines around there, maybe a little cross, maybe French knots everywhere. Like, just play, just let yourself play. No expectations, learn a new skill, let yourself play. And moving on from slow stitching and fabric, the other thing you can do, and I know someone mentioned this in the comments and reminded me, make your own papers. Now, the person who mentioned it had said that she will often get out her watercolours and just make a watercolour paper, which is fantastic. I was practicing with jelly plate printing last year, and I've still to re-pick it up. That's something I am going to do, but it gets very messy, so, which is great fun, but I'm working on other projects at the moment. I don't want my work area very messy. But what I did, not just jelly printing, literally, this is the rub-off sheet of jelly printing. This is just done with a, what they call brayer. So the paint that was on, brayed it on because I needed to get it off the brayer so I could then use it. Then when I've used stencils on the jelly plate, I've then put the paint that's still on the stencils on here. This is stencil. I've then done some basic stamping, some stamping here, some stamping here. This is stenciling with paint. You just go on, honestly guys, go on, and this is white. Do I want the black one? If you've got a Posca paint pen, just come on and play. Again, just a simple cross. These papers are so easy to make, because if you've got any paint, I'm already liking how that's added to that. If you've got any paint and a paintbrush, just make some splatters like this. And then I'm already in the zone. Get your stencils or your stamps. Get out some pens. It doesn't even have to be for a project, guys. Just enjoy getting creative. No one else has to see it. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. Rip it up as collage paper to put in future projects. I'm wondering now about doing, let's do some lines somewhere. Where do I want to do some lines? Don't overthink it. So yes, this is another great way. Do you know, when we're kids, we will often just grab a piece of paper and just, we don't worry about having to show it to anyone. We didn't worry about the products we were using and saving them for a better project. We didn't worry about things clashing. We just played. And when you are lacking creative mojo, I deeply believe you need to go back to just playing. So this is a great way, whether it's with watercolours, brush-on crystals, paint, stencils, stamps, paint pens, normal pens. Is this just a plain black one, or does it have green on it? Let's find out. This has green on it. Just bring them in. This is just a normal metallic gel pen that literally they're just sitting on my desk. And look, guys, don't overthink it. Right, that's it. I'll do that rest of it off camera. And another way you can do this is actually using it on digitals. Now, I think sometimes some of us are worried about doing things on digital papers. But remember, the whole joy of digital papers is that you can reprint anything out. So why not have a go at drawing on your digital papers? Again, you can use stamps to add to them. You can bring in pens to add an outline. It could just be splatters. Maybe you want to build up some collage fodder. So you're going to use ink splatters on your papers. And yeah, so you can do it on digitals, or you can make your own. And again, if it doesn't matter if you hate what you've done on the digital, what does it matter? Because you can print it back out, which is always fun. And yeah. So I know there's plenty of videos out there as well of what you can do to your digitals, but sometimes it's about doodling. Sometimes it's about letting your mind clear, not overthinking at all, and just letting your hand almost dictate what it wants to do. And either way, even if you end up hating it, you're going to end up learning something. So it's never wasted, you know. Do a black line too, where the red is. So yes, that's another thing you can do. And talking about that, oh gosh, I think my lid's come off my pen. No, it's on there. Talking about doing something simple, another great thing to do, which you would have seen me do, is pull out your stamps and just stamp a load of things. Let me grab the other ones I do. So when I have paper scraps, like little ones, I will often just pull out my stamps with my scraps and just start making bits that I can use in projects. It's all about getting you back to your craft table, guys, or even like this is. I know I've got more somewhere, but I'm not sure where. Let me see if I've got another one in here. Yeah, well, sort of. If you've got a sewing machine, just make a load of scraps for stitching. If you've got fun paper scraps, just make little ruffles. If you have, my thing is labels. I'm slightly obsessed with labels. These are all print, well, the majority of these are all just stamped pieces on vellum, on card, getting stamping. when you're lacking creative mojo, it can be really easy to just avoid any kind of craft thing at all because you're just feeling all sorts of emotions. So I find just doing things like this really helps. And that actually brings me on to one of the other things that's really good. If I bring my craft box back, if you've got loads of paper scraps, one of the other things that I find brilliant when I am really struggling is making collaged masterboards. This is one that is in that box because it has to be cut up and extra things need to be done to it. But collage masterboards, get out your boxes of scraps and make a masterboard. Doesn't even matter if you don't know what that masterboard's going to be for. Just make one. And then once you've got this, then you can, I don't know, paint on it, splatter on it, stencil on it, stamp on it. But you don't have to. You can just make that. And it's the same with these. It's just such a simple technique. Just let your brain have a bit of a rest and feel no pressure. And let your hand pick up some glue and stick some bits down. So, and that brings me on to probably one of my last things to do. And we're actually going to do this on camera because, yeah. So this is a little book I made. It's got the Belgian binding. I think I've got a video of this. I think I did the binding off camera, but I think I've got a video of this journal. And this is my little collage journal. It's just a little book that when I'm feeling a bit lacking, because again, this is a really small size. What size is this? It's 4 3/4 roughly by just under 4-ish. I just like to collage in here. All different kinds of things. Yeah, I just like to collage. I don't even know where that stuff was. Should we put it on here? So let's just do that now. And the last thing I want to say, which is a great way to get you inspired again. I can't find my glue book. Sorry, I just knocked you. Right, it's right beside me. Is start working on a project or a style that you absolutely love. I'm just going to literally stick things down, guys. I'm not even going to overthink it. So one of my favourite styles is grungy gothic. So when I'm struggling, I get some of my favourite products out, or as I am at the moment, I'm working on some little a gothic journal, and I will be coming next week. Do I want it this way? Oh, maybe I want it that way. I will be coming next week with a project that was a request actually. And it's in my favourite style. So I thought, why not? With me struggling, this might be a brilliant way for me to just do, why won't that want to stick? Just do something I really, really love. And hopefully it'll help me feel more inspired in general. So I feel like this needs to go down here, but do I want the writing? Now I'm looking at it, I prefer the writing. So yeah, collage is a great way of because you don't have to overthink. You're just playing, as it were. So I hope that helps you all a little bit. I know that was again, I'm not feeling overly inspired, so I'm hoping it made sense what I was saying. I'll go over everything again in a second. Just want to look at that. So yeah, this little book is just for me. And because of that, I don't have to worry too much. I know I moved it completely from where it was going. That's okay too. I don't have to worry too much about how it looks, what people think, all that good stuff, because I like that number, so I'm going to bring in that number because it's just for me. I'm not trying to do anything perfect. I'm just getting some scraps. This really does not want to stick on this paper. Yeah, collage is great. It uses up your scraps and you can just have, as I said, it gives your brain a bit of rest, no pressure on it at all, and yet you're creating. And without knowing, just by doing that, you're starting to get your brain back into that creative mindset, but without making it feel bad about itself, which, you know, it can do. There's one sleeping down there. Do I want this like this? Yeah, why not? Why not? So I do recommend you having a little pad, a little journal, a little creative space, or like a set of index cards or something that you put together and think, do you know what, when I'm struggling, I'm going to pull on that and just working in it, because that's my play space. And we're creatives, guys, so we need to play. We need to not... There's amazing things out there. There's amazing techniques now. There is the kind of products that we could only dream of even 20 years ago. Let's see if I want to add another thing to this. Like, look, this little blue thing. You know? But when it comes down to it, all those things are wonderful. But what truly makes us creatives is the playing, is the having fun. Oh, there's another ruffle I made from some baking sheets. Oh, we have this. I feel like I wanted to pop more colour. Do you know what? I think we're just going to add the ruffle. Why not? Why not? Super simple. And again, see if you've got these ruffles that you've made when you're... These are also just really good to make in the evening. You know, you can sit and easily make a load of ruffles or do a load of stamping. But as I said, they're really good when you're lacking creative mojo. So that page is done. I just have to date it because I do like dating these pages where possible. I think the last time I worked in this was actually last year. So yeah, that page is done. So let's go over it again, guys. So if you're lacking creative mojo, great techniques are get inspiration either from your own work, from other creatives, or from online places. Pinterest is great for that. Put together a set of easy prompts that you can pull one or two and work on those whilst on a small space, or have a look for some prompts or take part in one of the many challenges out there that are year-long kind of prompt challenges that are easy, like the Margaret Miller, the ABCJLC, and the full deck challenge. And actually, I know Shanuki Art with the full deck challenge has previous years prompts as well, because I think this is her third year doing it. So you can go and do an older set of prompts. You don't have to do the ones now. Organize and tidy your stash, and so that you're just looking through it, it's fresh to your eyes. Organize your space. This year, one of the things I have done is behind me, you can't see, but behind me is where all my craft boxes are, and I always have lights and stuff hung up there. And this year I've put some of my favorite projects that I'm working, not projects, but some of my favorite pieces that I've worked on for the last, I don't know, 8 years. They're hanging up there for me to look at. And if I make a new piece that I really enjoy, such as, hold on. Right now, this is also hanging up behind me because I just love it and it's making me feel inspired. So make a space, whether that's a little shelf, whether that's something you can hang up, where it's got some of your favorite pieces on, and they can be pieces you've been sent as well. And it just kind of inspires you to look at them. So yes, make your space tidy, organized, and a space that works for you, and go through your stash, because one, not only will it get you organized, like I said, but I've said organized a lot in this video, but it also helps you know what you have and also what you might be lacking in your crafting stash that you think, oh, that would be really fun. But use what you've got as much as possible. Either explore an old skill you haven't done for a while, or learn a new skill that doesn't need you to spend loads of money or anything like that, but it might already be a tool like me that you have and you haven't used. It may be a product, which again, I have a product that I haven't used yet, that I intend to explore. Yeah, just learn a new skill. Slow stitching is great. I cannot recommend it enough. If you are okay with stitching, I know obviously it depends on dexterity and eyesight and things like that. Slow stitching's great. And again, I highly recommend an actual piece of patterned fabric, because you're not having to think. You're just following the pattern and letting that inspire you. So there is that. Make some collage fodder with papers, either watercolor, paint, stenciling, stamping, tea dyeing, splattering, jelly plate printing, whatever it is. And if you haven't got any of that and don't want to, that seems like even that's too much for you at the moment, print out a digital you really love that's got a lot of interest and space on it, and get out some pens and just enjoy doodling. Doodling's another great one. I always wanted to do Zentangle, but do you know what? It's a bit exact. So when my brain's not working brilliantly, that's not the thing I want to do. But that might be worth looking at. And then obviously just get out your stamps. Just get out your stamps. Do some stamping, prep for when you are feeling more creative, or get out your scraps and do some masterboards. And again, you can use stamps and things on that. And as this is collage, do a little mini collage. We're back again to doing a small project, or look at what your favorite theme is or style, and just have fun playing with it. Don't put expectations on yourself, guys. That is the problem with struggling with Creative Mojo. We are often our harshest critics. And I really just think you have to tap into that inner child that just like to make, I don't know, things out of handprints. And or as my kids, I used to get those big rolls of, well, it used to be old wallpaper. Now they actually do rolls of paper, but I could pick up like a really old last end of stock wrapping wallpaper, and you turn it over, it's plain on the back, and I used to just roll that on the floor and let my kids just, I don't know, get paint on their hands, knees, pens, whatever, and let them go and have fun. And so yeah, do that. It's all about giving your brain and yourself a bit of grace and a bit of peace and a bit of like, just be kind to it and just say, well, let's create, but let's not worry too much. And it's all about having fun and exploration. And if you are learning a new skill, often that can then make you want to take the skill you've learnt and then use that in your usual crafting. So yeah, just it helps pull you sometimes, or look at out of a rut and look at things with a different eye. But when it all comes down to it, if you really just are not in the mood and you don't have to craft, then maybe give yourself a break and not do it. Another thing I'm doing this year is I'm taking card techniques and trying to work out how I can use those in my journals. So I'm learning something new, but it's an old skill because I used to make cards, but I never used to do these kind of techniques with them. And then I'm putting that in my journals. Great project to have a go at if you are really struggling with Creative Mojo. is either Junk Journal January or there's Junk Journal July. It's brilliant. It only runs for the month. There's prompts. There's loads of videos out there of other people who've done them and things like that. So you don't have to share. You can actually look at what other people have done and think, oh, that's an interesting page. Let's see what I create. I know obviously there's December as well in December, but obviously that's December. But there's old videos out there. You can go back and relook at prompts. Or if you've done one of those before, go back to the prompts and think, would I look at that differently now? If I did that 2 years ago, how would I now interpret that prompt? But that, I don't know, that for me right now would be a bit too much. Just found my gold pen as well. Oh, so there's a lot of chatting in that one. I hope they make sense. I'm going to put a list down below in the description box, so check it out. First of all, anyone I've kind of mentioned, like those challenges, but also I'm going to put the list down below of the things that I suggested. Again, if you have suggestions for people of how you help yourself, put that down below. I will be starting a project with you next week. You'll see it. That, as I said, was requested, and considering I've been struggling, I thought it was the perfect project to help me kind of feel creative again. So I'll be sharing that. That'll probably run for several weeks, that one, so keep an eye out for that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some inspiration out of it. I hope it gave you some ideas of what you can do, and I feel a bit more, I feel more energized. Sometimes it's just I look at it and think I know what I want to do, but that's not coming. So sometimes that's just about playing and making a mess and then going, well, I didn't like any of that, but now I do know what I want to do on this piece. So yes, anyway guys, that's it for now. I do hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know down below how you are doing. If you are struggling at the moment, I feel your creative pain with that one, guys. Yeah, we all do it. And I like to be as authentic as possible on this channel. So I like to share with you when I am struggling creatively. And we will see how long my lack of creative mojo lasts. But until then, guys, I will still be making videos. So please do like, share, comment and subscribe. If you haven't already, I'll be back again soon with another video. Until then, wherever you are in the world, I just hope you're having lots and lots of fun, and hopefully it's creative fun. Bye for now.